You guys want to see something wild? We had a snowstorm a couple days ago, and lots of trees. This is actually my neighborhood, so I'll show you up here. Coming home the other day was a pain in the ass because I had to get out of here and help with a chainsaw, cut all these trees that came down. And look up here, boom. Yeah, we got about let's see, I think about a foot of snow out here, and it was heavy snow, so that's what caused all these trees to come down. So you're probably wondering why I'm on the bike and there's snow on the road. Well, there's a perfectly good explanation for that. Hello friends, my name is Colin. As I said earlier, why am I out on the road today? Well, I'm actually heading to the dealership to get something fixed. A couple weeks ago, I did a video on regrets. If I had a regret purchasing the first year Pan America Special Model. Spoiler alert, no, I did not. And I go in to explain that in the whole video, but one of the things I talked about was a thing that kind of got missed, in my opinion, in quality control, kind of like long-term. Several people that own this bike are having issue with the radiator hose. You notice anything missing that you just saw about 30 seconds ago? Yeah, that's right, there is no snow on the ground. Through the magic of editing, this is actually 4 weeks later. So originally I told you that I was heading to the dealership to pick up a radiator hose. And a little bit about this hose, so everybody knows what's going on here. A couple people, not a couple, but probably several, have had issues with the radiator hose. It's too close to the pipe. So what was happening is, over time, the heat from the pipe was creating a small hole in the radiator hose, which is obviously very bad. And I don't want that because I don't want hot liquid spewing all over my body. So I took it in, and come to find out that during production of some bikes, there was some mistakes made during quality assurance where the hose was routed incorrectly. So the hose is supposed to be routed like over the top, but I guess, or I might have this backwards, or under the bottom, but it was actually routed over the top for a handful of people. And the people that it was routed incorrectly, that hose could have the possibility of it being too close to the hot pipe. I was one of those people, unfortunately. So when I went into Harley, they had to fix it, obviously. It was all under warranty. But when I went in there first, after that initial snowstorm, when I was dropping it off to get fixed, because I didn't want to ride it, obviously, I wanted to get it there and get it fixed. I got down there, and there was some miscommunication on my part. You know, I screwed up, but they essentially said that they didn't have it. And come to find out, that part, and you guessed it, it's on back order. So they were telling me it could be anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks. So needless to say, I was pissed. So not necessarily the dealer, because they couldn't control that, but Harley could. So I ended up calling that Harley customer care, that number they give you wherever in Milwaukee. And I explained my situation. I was like, listen, and I was really professional and respectful. I wasn't a dick or anything. But I was like, listen, man, 2022 bikes are coming in, and they have all these parts. And I was like, is it too much to ask to like just swap it off a bike now? Because I've had this thing, and I shouldn't have to wait because of a screw up that it wasn't routed right. And then, you know, they got back to me a couple days later, and they said they're going to see what they can do to expedite the part instead of it taking 4 to 5 weeks. You know, they were going to try to get it faster. So needless to say, that did happen. They actually got it about 2.5 weeks later. And it wasn't the end of the world because it was super cold and I was so busy at work I didn't have a chance to ride. So I ended up taking the bike back in, and then I just left the dealer, obviously. But the good news is, during that time, that break of 2 to 3 weeks, you know, a couple things happened with this bike. I mean, good news and bad news, I guess. So the good news is I wouldn't have to go back and make another trip. But there was several updates on the firmware, or the I believe it's the ECM or the BCM update, where they go in and then they have to hook it up to the computer and they attach it. So with the 2022 models, there's a couple key differences compared to the 21 on the Pan America. You might have heard about them. They're the quick shift, so the quick shifter are available to have it on the 2022s. It's an accessory, it doesn't come with it, but it won't fit on the 2021s. The other thing was the screen. They made it brighter, and so I don't know if you can see it right now, but that screen, you know, while it wasn't too terrible, but one of the things I had with the 2022s is the fonts are a lot bigger. So they had that update. So they actually, when they went in and did the update, it fixed several things. So the first one is the screen. So if you look at the screen, the fonts are definitely bigger and brighter, so that helps. If you don't have this bike, you really don't have a lot of comparing, but it definitely is better. The second thing, and they have a function, you guys have heard this, they have it on other bikes, a hill hold. So when you're on a hill and you hold in your brake for a couple seconds, it holds. I don't know if you knew this or not, but like originally on the 2021s, the hill hold only lasted literally for like 10-12 seconds, and that's it. So after that, like if you're on a hill, it's gonna roll back on you. Yeah, they needed to fix that, so they did. And the third thing, and this never impacted me, but you know, I tell you what, with these new bikes, they're buggy. You know, you can have some bugs in there with these new computer systems. One of the things, and again, this didn't happen to me, but I guess if you were below 20 degrees, it actually did a recall on it. So it wasn't just an update, they actually did a recall where they brought all the people that owned 2021 Pan Americas to get this fixed. Whereas if it was below 20 degrees, the screen wouldn't come on. So that's bad. And when I read about this, it was actually below 20. I went into my garage and turned it on, and it worked. So it didn't impact me. But anyway, they fixed that. They did a recall on that. So I got some updates done. But probably the biggest change I did, and I just decided while I was waiting, I ended up getting 50/50 tires. So I had a buddy of mine that has a Pan Am that I met through the local hog chapter at my dealership, and he got the 50/50 Michelins. Because I had the stock ones on mine, and I decided, I mean, he was telling me, he's like, dude, they run great, they run really smooth, and it doesn't feel like you have like off-road knobby tires. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, because I'd rather have that, because I've rode this bike several times off-road, and while the stocks are okay, they're great for like gravel and, you know, kind of tame roads, but once you get into like some ruts and some more heavy-duty stuff, stock not so good. So I ended up going with the 50/50, and that's what I'm riding on right now. And I've been on the road now for almost 15-20 miles from the dealer, and they're riding great. I mean, I can't have any complaints. I really don't have any long-term review on them yet, but just first impressions. They're working out just fine. So that's it. I just wanted to give you guys an update, what was going on. I hope everybody out there is having an awesome winter, because it's cold as hell here, and it's going to be warm before we know it. Now get out there and ride if you can, and freeze your ass off like I am. Be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.